Hi, so in this topic, we are going to learn how to decide on the duration and enter the duration of your tasks in your Microsoft project file. In the previous project, in the previous topic, we created the list of tasks, the indentation, and this is what we had till the end of our topic, and then we had a task with proper indentation hierarchy. So now it's about to enter the duration. By default, whenever you create a task in an auto schedule mode, I discussed about auto schedule mode and manual schedule mode task in the previous topic. So when you enter a task in an auto schedule mode, by default it takes 1 day as the duration, so you need to change those dates. Secondly, which we discussed earlier also, that you can create tasks in manual schedule mode as well. In manual schedule mode, you need to enter the duration manually. The software will not enter any duration on its own. So right now we have all the tasks in auto schedule mode, and with their respective durations which has been given by the software as 1 day, we need to change that. Now one thing, if you see carefully, all these duration that we have are all in days, because whenever you create a task in Microsoft project, by default the duration that it takes is a day, because the default setting of Microsoft project is day. uh, we can change it to hours, minutes, weeks, years, month, so on, but by default if you just enter a number, it will consider that we are talking about days. And in our previous topic, we talked about project calendar, and we have set that 8 hours working calendar. So typically a day consists of 8 hours in this Microsoft project. This is what it means. So first let us understand how do we change the default settings. If you want, like let's suppose I am working in a project where the duration to be in weeks, or duration can be in hours. So let us first understand how to change the default setting of the duration if it is anything other than day. So to change default setting, as we already discussed earlier, then yes, file is the tab which we need to go. So under file I need to go to options. So if I go to file options, then all the project options do come in front of me. So the first thing that I need to change here is the duration unit from days to any other format. So I'll just click on schedule. So as I clicked on schedule, if you see, there is an option which is saying schedule options for this project, and here I have something, duration is entered in days. So if I select from the drop down, I can select it in minutes, hours, weeks, months. So if I select anything other than days, let's say if I select weeks, so whenever I'll enter a number against the duration of that activity, it will consider those many weeks. So if I enter, like let's suppose I enter 1, it will assume that it is 1 week. But again, 1 week here means the working days, which is in our calendar has been set as Monday to Friday. So 1 week here means 5 days, not 7 days. So you need to consider those factors as well when you decide the duration. Ideally, what I find comfortable is to do it in days. If I am working in some projects which are smaller in size and complexity, then it can be in hours, and larger project can be in weeks, but nothing in minutes and months, which I generally use or prefer in my projects. I'll keep it as days. So this is where we change the duration unit, the default setting. Even if you don't want to change the default setting, you can just type here, like under collect requirement, let's say it is going to take 5 days, so I can write here 5, so it will consider as 5 days, or I can write here as 1 followed by WOK, which stands for week. So it will be considered as 5 days only, which I talked earlier. Here 1 week means 5 working days. So to enter the duration, we need to go to the duration column and enter the duration of the respective task. So again, while entering duration using Microsoft project is very easy, but difficult part is always the estimation of the duration. Now there are various ways of estimation of duration, which if you would have gone through any project management course, you would know that there are multiple ways of estimating duration, like analogous estimation, wherein we consider the previous project and take inputs from there and quote the duration of the activity as the same. Then we have parametric estimation, where we try and identify the per unit effort or time required. Then we have 3-point estimation or bottom up estimation, Ideally, what estimation should always come from the people who are going to do the job. So these are some of the techniques which you generally apply while estimating the duration. The software is not going to help you to estimate duration, but yes, once you enter the duration and you do the proper logical sequencing of the activities, it will help you to come out with the schedule, which is very difficult to create in the manual calculation mode. So if I enter, let's say collect requirements is going to take 4 days, define scope is going to take 5 days, create WBS is, let's say, going to take 4 days. So I can keep on entering the duration. Here, as soon as I entered 4, it considered as 4 weeks because I typed WK as the unit here. So if I need to change the unit here back to days, so I need to type here 4D. So it will consider itself as days. So I can keep on high level design, let's say it will take 5 days, detailed design, let's say it will take 7 days, analysis will take, let's say, 10 days. So I'm just entering some random dates. Make sure you do the proper estimation of the activities duration or the task duration, and have it implemented, have it entered in your Microsoft project file, because if your duration is wrong, then obviously you'll come out with a schedule which is very unrealistic. So this is how you enter the duration of your task. And I also talked about how to change the default settings of the duration unit. By default it is days, and you can change it to weeks or hours or months or years. So yes, now one thing, next step as a project manager that you need to do is that if you look at these tasks, these are all in a list format, right, with their respective durations. Now all are taking start date as the project start date, which you have set as 11th September. So it is taking the project start date because there are no such predecessors to these activities. Now what is a predecessor, what is a successor? Now whenever we talk about activities or multiple activities which are running in a project schedule, they will be dependent on each other in some sort or the other. Like an output from one activity will be required to perform another activity. So that is where we define the relationship of predecessor and successor. So predecessor technically means is the one that is required to be completed or started so that the other activity can be completed or started. So predecessor is, in a very layman's term, I would call the master activity, and successor is the activity which is dependent on the master activity. So like if I say, for example, collect requirements and define scope. So obviously I cannot define the scope unless requirements are gathered. So define scope is dependent on collect requirements finish. So I would rather this is a sequential type of activity which I'll perform. Activities can be performed parallelly also to save time. Sometimes how do I, in which order do I want to perform the activities might be my preference, or sometimes it is governed by the nature of that activity or by certain external factors. So there might be certain dependencies which may be mandatory, or it can be a preferential dependency which I prefer to way to do it. um, so that is what again the project manager has to decide, that what is the logical order, most appropriate logical order to perform these activities, because once we decide the logical order, then only the most realistic schedule will come in front of us. As of now everything is being shown as the start date of the project, which practically is not. So as I sequence these activities, the realistic schedule will come in front of me. So however, in this topic we just wanted to discuss how to enter duration and how to change the default settings of duration. In the subsequent topic we'll discuss about task relationships and how to associate different types of relationship across different activities, how to set up multiple predecessors or multiple successors if there are any, and how do you run activities which are parallel. And also we'll introduce a new concept which is called lead and lag. Now what is lead and lag, we'll understand that in the subsequent topic. So make sure you enter the duration of your activities correctly, estimate it correctly, because all will be correct only if your estimations are correct. So spend some good amount of time in estimation, have experts involved in that, take teams input so that your estimates are very realistic and they don't deviate much. I prefer that an activity, if once estimated, though it might differ in industry to industry and project to project, I prefer that if I have estimated an activity, it should not deviate by more than 5%. So that is how real I want to make my estimates. It might be much small, lesser than 5% also in some cases, but nothing beyond 5%. 5% is the ultimate threshold which I keep for my estimations. So yes, that's it for this topic. In the subsequent topic, we'll learn how to sequence the activities and how to come out with the first draft of our schedule. So, thank you.